Well, hello everyone. Welcome to The Advocates. I am your co-host Mark Iorio, along with Lisa Manioki to my left, your right, and Al Cini to my right, your left. And today I am beyond thrilled. I mean, this is such an honor for us to have Jim and Sarah Huling on today, Huling Tendler on today from Find Your Fire. Sarah and Jim, welcome to The Advocates. We are so happy to have you on.
I'll speak for Sarah for a moment, if I may, you guys, but it's a real honor for us. I mean, we've really been counting the days down to be with you all. And in that time, we've had a chance to do some homework on you. My gosh, what a difference you're making in the world with the work that you do and the profound insights you bring. So I tell you, we feel just as honored to be in your presence today, and thanks for having us both.
Jim, it's absolutely, it's a pleasure. It really is. I mean, The Advocates, Jim and Sarah, is really about the brainchild of Lisa, Al, and myself to help bring about the folks that are helping other people, people helping people. And Find Your Fire and what you and Sarah are doing, Jim, has just been amazing. And you know, the program that you've developed together, along with selling 6 million copies of this book, The 4 Disciplines of Execution, it's just an amazing.
It's a great opportunity to learn about it.
Yeah.
Very exciting.
Yeah.
I'll have to tell you, we're never more excited than when we get a chance to be with people who have that same sense of mission. You know, let's leave the world a better place than we found it, and let's make sure we do something that has enough impact that somebody will know we were here, that we made a difference. You know, and we see that as the mission and driving force behind everything you guys do. So thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Great. Jim and Sarah, jumping right in, what do you say to a business owner or a business leader who says, I pay my people, I give them benefits, why isn't that enough?
Mm-hmm. You know, I think there are 2 ways to answer that, and I hope you like them both. Number one is a little bit sarcastic to say, if all you're going to do is pay, then all you're going to do is get an exchange of hours for dollars. Yeah. And I have a CrossFit coach who loves to say to me occasionally, if you're happy with mediocrity, it doesn't bother me a bit. So, which does occasionally apply to my CrossFit workout. But I think that's really a great way to think. You know, if you're a leader who says, hey, isn't it enough? I write a check every week. Isn't that enough? Then the employee is entitled to say, yeah, and I fulfill the requirements of my job. Isn't that enough? And I think every leader in the world would say, well, wait a minute. I do want you to fulfill the requirements of your job, but I really hope that you're excited about it. I hope you're engaged. I hope you go the extra mile, that you bring a kind of service to our customers that makes them excited and want to come back, which brings the whole conversation full circle, doesn't it? Because you don't get that part of me simply because you write a check. You have to engage me. You have to give me an opportunity to feel like I'm part of something that matters, and beyond that, to feel like I'm a valuable piece of what we're trying to accomplish here. You've got to bring all those things into the picture if you want that kind of extraordinary performance.
Yeah,
absolutely. And to add to that too, I think that's especially been emphasized over the last couple of years, right? Where it seems like everyone we've spoken to, and even us ourselves, have taken a moment to really reflect and ask ourselves, is this what I want to be doing? Is this what I want the next X amount of years to look like? Am I excited when I wake up in the morning? Or am I really just looking forward to Friday at 5 o'clock when I can log off and be done for the weekend?
Yeah, and a lot of that has to do with finding your purpose in life, right? And yeah, I think one of the things that as you said, Sarah, that's been emphasized over the last couple of years, especially during this pandemic, is that people are really trying to find that purpose and really finding that dream, accomplishing the things that they want to accomplish in life, rather than just going in and punching a clock or going to work and feeling no fulfillment at all. What's the approach like with Find Your Fire? How do you go about helping people uncover that?
Yeah, that's a great question. The way that we like to talk about that is it's from the inside out. So with lots of different programs, you're trying to gain information from the outside in. They have the information, you're trying to get it. So it's from the outside in. This information all comes from you. We can't tell you what your purpose is. It's all inside you. So this process walks people through being able to uncover that along with their greatest strengths, their greatest values, and even put that all of that information into action and discover their ideal work environment and what the environment that really makes them feel when they're at the best.
Yeah,
I love
absolutely.
the way Sarah says that, you guys. And if I just add on to that, we like to be really clear with everybody that if you're in a job for the money and you're in a sense trading hours for dollars, there's nothing wrong with that. That's honorable, and especially if you're doing that to take care of yourself or your family or the people that you love. We don't come to this subject with any disrespect, but we're also conscious that every time you start saying purpose, it's a sort of a lofty word, isn't it? And there are plenty of
yeah.
people that you talk to whose eyes just glaze over. They're like, "Hey, I have a job. I need to get back to it. Whatever this thing is you're talking about, it's not for me." So the thing I'm the most proud of is what Sarah said, is that we took this subject, which can be amorphous, and we distilled it down into 10 very discrete, and I know I'm biased here, but I really promise you this is true, very manageable steps.
Sure.
So that you don't have to sit around and look at purpose as this big overwhelming thing that maybe someday you'll get around to, but not right now. You can say, I can take a small move every single week, one of these discrete steps, and in a relatively short period of time, I can wake up on Monday morning with a sense that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm doing what represents the best utilization of the time and the energy and the talent that I was given. And honestly, that's a gift Sarah and I feel like is the legacy we're trying to leave. There's a whole bunch of people who have found what they're here for and are actively pursuing it.
Well,
That's interesting. Now, I agree that purpose can feel like this giant task to accomplish, and it can be really elusive. So what do you say to the person, though, who's been gifted with a lot of abilities and talents, so they can execute many things well? How do you help them to distinguish between what they can do and what they're meant to do?
Interesting.
Yeah, I have lots of thoughts on this one. I think this is really, Jim, this is your sweet spot. So, I could say it, but I probably won't say it as well as you, Jim. So why don't you take that one?
Okay. Well, there's two ways of looking at that. And by the way, I think we would say this after every question, but can I just say, so far, you've asked us the best questions of every setting like this that we've been in. So
That's great.
I hope we're raising our game to your level, because these questions are so insightful. So let's take a very high level for a second. At the very most conceptual level, the formula for real success and a really great life, I think, is to find the things that you're uniquely gifted to do that match things that people in the world uniquely need. In other words, if you can find what the world needs and what sort of brings you alive, you can find the intersection of those two things, you're on the right track. It's no more complicated than that. But still, having said that, and having taught lots and lots of people, Sarah and I both are happy that we can now say, for example, there's three things you got to get really clear about. What are you naturally gifted at? What did you come into this lifetime with a predisposition to being able to do? That's one piece of your formula. The second piece of your formula is, where do you thrive? What kind of environment are you at your best in? We have lots of exercises that help a person study their own life and study their own history, for example, and be able to say, gosh, this is where I've been at my best. And then last of all, the question that is the hardest to answer, but by the time you get to it, you're ready in our program, is, why am I here? What am I supposed to be doing, such that, if tomorrow was my last day, I wouldn't go out saying, I wish I'd done the thing I came here to do. I would finish my life journey by saying, I found and pursued the thing that I was meant to do. So those three things, because you're naturally gifted at, what you're, where do you thrive, and then why are you here? What are you supposed to be doing? Those three questions are really the foundational part of our program.
Yeah, and just to add one final note on that too, our program focuses a lot on thinking and analyzing and really tapping into your thought processes and your motivators, your drivers. But I think it's important also to highlight how important it is to take a moment and listen to your heart as well. So really tap into, what does my heart say? You know, maybe I'm gifted at 3 different things. I can do 3 different things successfully and well. But what does my heart want me to do? Which way does my heart lead me?
Yeah. You know, we've been to your website. It's beautiful. You did a great job laying out your program. Just to connect it to the audience who's watching, if you're a business leader and you're looking to get that elusive next level of performance out of your people, if you're an individual and you're looking to become more deeply connected to the work you do and the meaning you serve, then Jim and Sarah are the people to get hold of. And you're going to tell us later on how to reach out to you. But real quick, before we go to a break, 10 baby steps. Maybe you can, how do I get where I'm going by taking those 10 steps, and how do you deliver that?
Yeah, it's a great question, and I guess Sarah and I would both say it's kind of our favorite question to answer, you know, because about now, if we talk enough about purpose, most people have started to listen. You know, there's something in the heart that resonates with this message of what was I born to do? And the very next thing in everybody's mind is, okay, how do I do that? Now I need a tactical plan. So our tactical plan really takes you through 3 things that matter. If we have time today, we'll go through the exact steps if you like, but the 3 things that really matter come down to what was I most gifted at? I believe we said this a moment ago, but then what does my history teach me about myself? You know, when we're thinking about how to build a great life, we mostly only look forward. And one of the things Sarah and I love the most is we have an entire section of our process that asks you to look backward, sort of become a detective of your own life. And you will find that the peak moments of your life and the best experiences you've had give you clues on how to build a great future. But then last of all, and I hope this comes through well and clearly to everybody, you're never finished until you can define not only how do those things benefit me in the creation of the life I want, but also how do they make a difference? How do they serve others? How do they help other people who may need the very thing I came into this life able to do? You're not finished until you found some way to give something back. You know, Maya Angelou has a great quote. She says, don't go through life with a catcher's mitt on both hands, because you need to be able to throw something back. Yeah. It's one of our favorite quotes. It's woven all through our program, because for everything we help people discover about themselves that they benefit from, we want to also remind them that the real power and the real joy, frankly, is in how you use that capability to give something back to the people around you.
Absolutely.
That's great.
Sarah and Jim, we're going to have to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back after this message from our sponsors with more from Jim and Sarah Huling. Don't go away, folks. This is great. Thank you.
We're Dr. Mark and Liz from Marriage Matters, a show that inspires, instills hope, and empowers couples to weather the stresses of married life.
Join us each week to hear how couples, real couples like you, have overcome challenges that were hurting their marriages, as well as getting expert advice on ways to nurture a happy and healthy relationship.
Tune in Fridays at 4:30 p.m. and Thursdays at 9 a.m. on RVN TV.
The new Kentucky Fried Chicken Sandwich with brioche buns, mayo, pickles, and a quarter-pound filet as far as the eye can see. Get comfy, it's gonna be a while. This thing's huge. Get the new Kentucky Fried Chicken Sandwich for just $3.99. It's finger-licking good.
Have you heard? Join me, Heather Darling, weekly for a different spin on politics, business, law, and other key issues you will not want to miss right here on RVN TV.
Look at this crazy calzone from those brainiacs at Little Caesars.
Is it more pizza or more calzone?
Pizza. Calzone. Confused. Pizza. Pizza. Calzone.
We're not Big Pizza, we're Little Caesars. The new crazy calzone for $8.49.
Pizza, pizza.
You're still Perfect timing. Your turn. Nintendo Switch. That's my way to play.
Pumpkin lovers, there's a whole new spin on pumpkin to love at Dunkin'. With our new Pumpkin Cream Cold Brew, topped with velvety pumpkin cream cold foam, or our pumpkin spice signature latte. Enjoy a medium for $3. That's how we pumpkin at Dunkin'. America runs on Dunkin'.
Welcome back to The Advocates. I am your co-host, Mark Iorio, along with my good friends over here to my right and left, Al Cini and Lisa Manioki, or Lisa Manioki, I should say, and Al Cini, right?
Yeah.
That's better.
That's better, right? And we are just having the time of our lives with Jim and Sarah Huling, talking about find your fire and finding your purpose. And wow, what a great conversation. Jim and Sarah, I did mention to you that 30 minutes is going to fly by, and I wish we had an hour to do this interview. But yeah, thank you so much for joining us.
It's Jim and Sarah. We talked a little bit about this during the break, and I know that you're a father and daughter team, and you've made finding your purpose a kind of a family tradition. Maybe you can tell the audience how a father and a daughter get together and find their fire.
Wow.
Absolutely. I love this question. So my dad and I thought about working together for a long time. It was something that was a dream of ours, even though we didn't really know how it would come about or when it would come about. And then in 2020, as we were speaking about kind of reflecting about where we were and what we were doing, we came together and as people who have followed this process ourselves, really decided that we wanted to have this kind of impact in the world. So we took a lot of time. We took about a year to write the program. It's based off of lots of exercises that we've used with our own coaching clients and that we've also gone through on our own. And we've taken all of the knowledge that we have experienced over the years, and like my father said, really distilled it down into this easy process that would be not overwhelming to people and that they could really take and use on their own.
Yeah, I think if you put all that together, we were both saying, what is the greatest gift we could leave behind? What is the biggest thing we could possibly do together if we put our own talents and experiences? And then just to make it even harder, how could we make that greatest gift so incredibly simple that people would be drawn toward it instead of trying to avoid it? That combination of depth of meaning and simplicity of implementation. And I don't think I have to explain to you guys for sure that that's the hardest combination of all, right?
Yeah.
One or the other is pretty simple, but to put them together is difficult. And so I think you hear a little bit of natural pride in our voices that we think we've really done that. We haven't mentioned today, but it's probably good to say that we have in the Find Your Fire process a personal version of that program that's available to everybody, and perhaps there'll be an opportunity to let people know where they can find that. And that's all self-paced. Everybody can go through that on their own. But we also have an organizational version, what we call the team edition, where an entire team in an organization can go through the process together and, in a sense, find their purpose, not only for themselves, but their purpose in being together as a team. It's an organizational application of the same idea.
Wow.
So those two versions were really what Sarah and I said, let's see if we can do it. Can we create this thing that may go on long after we're finished and continue to have an impact in the world.
Well,
That's right. We were really inspired by not only the individuals that we had talked to that were thinking about making a change, but didn't know where to start, or maybe had found themselves in a job for a long time and wanted to change industries. But we were also inspired by all the leaders that we knew that had teams of their own that were saying, gosh, how do I motivate these guys? And what can I do to take my team to the next level?
That's right. In fact, I don't know if we won't go too long on this, but if you don't mind, I want to tag one thing onto what Sarah said, please, is that, we really went through the same experience everybody else did. I think when COVID came and we all lived through that moment of realizing that we aren't going to be here forever, whatever we're meant to do, we better get busy making it happen. Sarah and I had that same experience, and I had just come off the greatest chapter of my professional life, which was 14 years of teaching people how to execute, how to set goals and make them happen. Yeah. And so to turn our attention to why would you want to do that? Why do those goals matter? In other words, the deeper aspect of that was an opportunity to do something that really would make a difference. I think we felt the same thing. We didn't want to just have a job anymore. We wanted to have a calling, if you will, something that we felt pulled toward every single day. And thank goodness for us. What a great blessing in our life. We not only found it, but we found that it was something that we were better together at than either of us would have been individually.
That's
incredible. Well, it is incredible. And the fact that you've touched so many people and you continue to be a blessing in so many people's lives is pretty remarkable. One of the things I wanted to ask the two of you is, as you go through this process, Jim and Sarah, how does it make you feel when you take an individual or a team through a process like this, and they're able to grasp onto that purpose that has thus far in their lives eluded them?
Yeah, absolutely. Great question. I can just say it's the most rewarding thing in the world, honestly. My dad and I have the same message, but we have a different way of delivering it. So to see that and how our partnership complements each other in that way, and be able to really see who this resonates with. I'm 36, so my message resonates with one demographic and his message resonates with another. So to be able to come together in that way and really help people, regardless of their background or how long they've been in the workforce, be able to help them and inspire them is just the greatest, most rewarding thing.
Yeah, thanks.
If I could just echo that, you guys, and you notice that Sarah didn't say my age on camera, which is 57, so we might as well have full
We can look that up, Jim.
Thank you for covering for me. But I said to Sarah the other day, that we come to the final session of this program when we're doing a team. We're taking an entire team through it, like we are now with several teams. You come to that last day, and it's momentous. There are people in the group who have found this new level of meaning, what they want to do, and you can see it on their faces. I mean, it's almost like they were like sparkles shooting out from their hair somehow. They're just alive with this sense of, I know what I'm supposed to be doing. But I've said to Sarah many times, that's not the best day. The best day is 6 weeks later, 4 months later, 2 years later, we encounter that person and they say, from that day to this, here's what's happened in my life.
Sure.
I'm emotional right now. I just had chill bumps in my entire body just because we've had those experiences where we see somebody in a restaurant, who will say, you don't remember me, but I went through the Find Your Fire program and here's what happened. And it's hard. I'm getting choked up even right now. That's what you live for. That's why you do this work. So in a sense, our purpose is fulfilled by helping everybody we can reach find their purpose, know what they're supposed to be doing, and then pursue it. And I don't know anything that surpasses that.
God bless you.
I can't even describe it well, but I think you get a sense of what we're talking about.
That's what the Advocates is all
I
about.
have goosebumps too.
Perfect Advocates answer.
That's what the Advocates is all
now,
about.
you two have made it very easy for each other to do this. Now, I raised my kids alone, and I gave them permission to find what makes their heart sing, what feels good. If it's a job, that's simply not enough. But what do you say to the person or the people who are not surrounded by family or friends or circumstances that make it easy for them to pursue their purpose?
Yeah, I think that's a great question, and we talk about this. In fact, it's funny when you ask the question, it's so beautifully asked because one step in our 10 steps is about assembling your team and your resources around you. And part of that, and I don't mind telling you, this is a little bit hard-hitting, is to do an assessment of the quality of support you have around you. So, for example, one of our steps is to identify those people who will help you, who are in support of you, who will encourage you. But it's also to recognize those people who will likely be the first to say, this is probably not what you should be doing, or you'll never succeed at this, or no one in our family's ever done anything like that. So we call it, the step is called Get Radically Clear. Don't you love that name?
Yeah.
Get radically clear. So you get radically clear about the resources, the support, the amount of time you have to invest. And honestly, Sarah, I don't know if you would say this exactly the same way, but I think that step is why we have so much success. It's sort of like Dr. Covey's idea, begin with the end in mind.
Sure.
You know, before you start this journey, you get radically clear about what you're ready to do and about what you have around you that you can access in the times that you need it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's right. And to add a note onto that too, I think one of the beautiful things about the time that we live in now is that we are so connected. So maybe it's not your immediate family or your partner or your best friend that's going to end up being the most supportive person. But there are Facebook groups, you know, we have a Facebook group of like-minded individuals where people reach out all the time and discuss their successes, but also things that have been challenging to them, obstacles that they've run into recently. And there's just an overwhelming amount of support through those social media avenues to have people really step up and say, I've been there, you know, here's what I did when I was in the same spot, and it can be incredibly supportive to those people.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you said that because I forget to mention in this group, you know, we have this intimate group of almost 600 people who have who've grown to trust each other, and they're on the same journey, you know. So I'm on step 5, well, I'm on step 8. Here's what happened to me, you know. And so even if you don't have a safe place or a strong support system, one of the things I think, gosh, Sarah, we might say the thing we're most happy about, honestly, is we are happy to have you join our family of like-minded people who are all winning and striving, but also sometimes stumbling every single day. And believe me, when you put a post in that group and you say, I'm struggling with something, you better sit back because you're going to get about 200 answers of suggestions or keep going or don't give up. Call me if you need to. You know, you'll see all that happen. And Sarah and I, we don't drive that. We let that community organically find each other and use that as a way of expressing their own purpose, you know, and their own shared journey.
But that's how it happens. It is organic. And once you find your people, then doors tend to open.
Things tend to open.
Great.
Without you really trying that hard, right?
Good.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. I was telling Al this week that in one of my very first jobs, many, many years ago, which maybe was a prophetic harbinger of this session we're having today, I don't know, but I was very, very junior. So this would be like 1873. And I mentioned to my boss quite spontaneously, I said, do you ever think we might, as a team, might benefit from like a session on purpose, like kind of figuring out. Now, I remember I'm like 24 years old. I'm making this suggestion to my boss, and I could not repeat on air what he said to me when I made this suggestion. It would not pass the FCC guidelines, but it was a very colorful version of no and get back to work. I just think about how far we've come now. That when we open ourselves up, as Sarah and I are doing, that we are flag bearers that for the idea of a great life, a great career, things of meaning. Now people come towards that message. You know, it's like a lighthouse. They're looking for it, and we just hold ourselves up as people who will make space for that and offer a little instruction and some encouragement. You know, and I think we've been frankly amazed at how hungry the world seems to be for this sense of, I know why I'm here. You know, I know what I'm supposed to be doing. I know what brings me joy. And therefore, I'm thriving because I'm pursuing that thing. Yeah. We've never been more hungry for that than we are. It's
wonderful.
We're coming
and I love the focus that companies are putting on that now, too. You know, they're really realizing that having their people be engaged and motivated does affect the bottom line, you know, and it really is about the people, and it also starts at the individual level. It's not something that can start from the top down. It's something that has to start with each individual person.
We are coming down, that's great. We are coming down to the end of this. We're going to have you back for sure.
Definitely.
But I think Al has one quick question. One quick question.
And for both of you, really, there are people out there that, what I love about your program is that you've essentially weaponized the pandemic to change the conversation from making money to building value. I think that's wonderful. There are companies out there that really need this, because if they change the conversation, they're going to get an outcome. Real quick, what's the return on investment in Find Your Fire from a business person's point of view?
Yeah, and if I may, I'll speak as an old CEO and saying, you know, when you think about return on investment, could there be a greater return on investment than, first of all, people who are alive with a sense that the job they're doing for you is the thing they're supposed to be doing in their life? Yeah. Is there any greater return than that? And then secondly, the ultimate measure of every investment in any business anywhere in the world is, did it enable people to do different things that would bring them better results? Did you make change happen through the program? And so what could be better than that, than a group of people who says, no, I know exactly. Excellence in customer service is one of the defining elements of my life. Don't you want 25 of those people on your team starting tomorrow? And then last of all, in a time when so many people have said, I want more than this. I want more than just a job. I want more than just a benefits package. I want to feel like I'm doing something that makes a difference in the world. What greater resource could you have to instill loyalty and retention and people who want to grow with you and the company and who do fantastic things when you're not watching them, because that's who they want to be, What greater ROI is there than that? I don't think there is one, but never before have we had a context in which that ROI is so plainly valuable.
Absolutely.
When most organizations have lost 20, 30, 40% of their people. Yep. And according to Gallup, 70% of that turnover is people who are in search of something that means more to them than the job they used to have with you. Yep. Well, what better ROI could you ask for that, And then I know I've gone too long. At the end of that, I would say the same thing Sarah and I say every day. Go out 10 years. You're sitting in a restaurant. Somebody comes up to you and says, you don't remember me, but I took the Find Your Fire program in 2022, and it changed my life. Wow. If you're the leader who brought that program, I promise you that's the legacy you will remember long after all your quarterly results have faded from your memory, and you don't even remember what your corner office used to look like. You'll remember the faces and the names of the people where you think you made a difference.
Yeah. Absolutely.
That's your true legacy as a leader, and that's the greatest ROI there could ever be.
That's great.
Couldn't ask for more, Jim and Sarah. Thank you so very much for joining us on The Advocates.
Great interview.
What a great interview. Can you please tell the audience how to get in touch with the two of you and the Find Your Fire program?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can go to our website, which is chooseyourlife.jimhuling.com/FYF for Find Your Fire. We're also on all of the social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and we upload some videos to YouTube every once in a while too. So make sure you like, follow, share, comment. We love to hear from you guys. So the more feedback we get from you, the better.
We
also we try to post something meaningful about purpose and life and career every single day on every social media platform. So once you find us, you can have your daily boost every morning to remind you of these ideas as well.
Great.
Really exciting.
Well, this lived up to our expectations.
yes.
Yes, it did.
Right now.
Great
We've been
conversation.
looking forward to this for a long time. So God bless you both. Thank you so much for joining Lisa and Al and me on this this wonderful program. We'll see you soon, Jim and Sarah. Thank you so much for joining us. Folks, that's a wrap for The Advocates. We'll see you next week. Have a wonderful week, everyone. Go help someone.